Shri Matre Namaha. As we know that our India has so many pilgrim centers. Each and every pilgrim center has its own image, reputation, and magnanimity. Wherever you go, there will be some kind of reputation to that holy place. That's the greatness of our Indian soil, because it is maintained by, walked by the great sages who dedicated their lives for the welfare of the generations. In this way, we can get so many holy places to be popular due to various reasons which meant for the welfare of the people. Otherwise, it might not. Among them, we can describe the famous and got international reputation. Such a great temple is called Lotus Temple, situated New Delhi, capital of India. It's a beautiful construction. It may not be ancient one like other Tanjavur, Kumbakonam, Puri Jagannath, like that. But the work of Lotus Temple is marvelous, extraordinary structure. Swami Harinarayana is worshipped there. Swami Narayana. Lotus Temple is a beautiful monument of our culture and tradition. The Lotus Temple is built like a lotus petals, etc. The architect took concentration in each and every bit of the work. We can't describe. If we go directly, then only we can get the feeling of holiness, spiritualness. Such a Lotus Temple built for our culture and tradition, which attracts whomsoever once enter there. They never like to come so immediately. Such a attraction is there that we have to see and enjoy. For Hinduism, it is a beautiful monument. We cannot forget it is. Even we can find Buddhism, all religions, symbols can be seen in Lotus Temple. Lotus means knowledge. Therefore, if you go there, we can see lots of people sitting under one of the petals, mean one of the row. They used to meditate. They won't be allowed cell phones, etc. Even they won't allow sounds. Simply closing our eyes, doing meditation. The peaceful, no? It's nearly acres of land. I think more than 5 to 10 acres. But if you go on walking, it takes go long. After reaching to Lotus Temple, we cannot forget the joy and blissfulness. Each and everyone should get experience directly going to there and watching the construction made by the beautiful and dutiful architects. That cannot be described. Such a Lotus Temple got so many awards, whether national or international. So, we have to know the details. That's why today I took the topic of Lotus Temple, which should be known by each and everyone. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Greatness of lotus flower. The lotus Nelumbo nucifera is an aquatic plant that plays a central role in the art of Indian religions such as Hinduism, Buddhism, Sikhism, and Jainism. In Asian art, a lotus throne is a stylized lotus flower used as the seat or base for a figure. It is a normal pedestal for divine figures in Buddhist art and Hindu art, and often seen in Jain art also. Originating in Indian art, it followed Indian religions to East Asia, in particular Hinduism. The Hindu goddess Lakshmi holding and standing on a lotus, Raja Ravi Varma described beautifully such photos, such images. Hindus revere it with the divinities. Vishnu and Lakshmi often portrayed on a pink lotus in iconography. Historically, many deities, namely Brahma, Saraswati, Lakshmi, Kubera, usually sit on a stylized lotus throne. In the representation of Vishnu as Padmanabha, see his name, lotus navel. A lotus issues from his navel, Brahma on it. The goddess Saraswati is portrayed on a white colored lotus. The lotus is a symbol of what is divine or immortal in humanity, and is also a symbol of divine perfection. The lotus is the attribute of sun and fire gods. It symbolizes the realization of inner potential and in tantric and yogic traditions. The lotus symbolizes the realization of each and every religious attributes, characteristics, that the greatness of the lotus. The flow of energy moving through the chakras, which is often depicted as wheel-like lotuses, flowering as the 1,000-petaled lotus of enlightenment at the top of the skull. Lord Vishnu is often described as a lotus-eyed one, means Pundarikaksha. As the lotus's unfolding petals suggest the expansion of the soul. The growth of its pure beauty from the mud of its origin holds a benign spiritual promise. In Hindu iconography, other deities like Ganga and Ganesha are often depicted with lotus flowers on their seeds or as their seeds. The lotus plant is cited extensively within Puranic and Vedic literature. For example, one who performs his duty without attachment surrounding the results unto the Supreme Lord is unaffected by sinful action, as the lotus is untouched by water. See what we should. That's why the elder people used to say you should live like a drop of water on lotus leaf. Brahmanyadhaya karmani sangam jyakva karoti yaha lipyatena sa papena padmapatramivamhasa. Those who dedicate their actions to God, abandoning all attachment remain untouched by sin, just as a lotus leaf is untouched by water. We should live like that. Really, it is reasonable, acceptable. With the help of the beautiful analogy of the lotus leaf, Lord Krishna says that just as it flows atop the surface of the lake but does not allow itself to be wetted by the water, similarly, the Karma Yogis remains untouched by sin, although performing all kinds of works, because they perform their works in divine consciousness. Chinese religion. In Chinese culture, Confucian scholar Zhou Dunyi wrote, I love the lotus because while growing from mud, it is unstained. The lotus is the emblem of Makkah and appears on its flag. Let us see in Buddhism. In the Anguttara Nikaya, the Buddha compares himself to a lotus, saying that the lotus flower rises from the muddy water unstained, as he rises from this world, free from defilements taught in the specific sutta. In Buddhist symbolism, the lotus represents purity of the body, speech, and mind, as if floating above the murky waters of material attachment and physical desire. According to legend, Gautama Buddha's first steps made lotus flowers appear everywhere he stepped. In Tibet, Padma Sambhava, the lotus born, is considered the second Buddha, having brought Buddhism to that country by conquering or converting local deities. He is normally depicted holding a flower of lotus. Lotus thrones are the normal pedestal for most important figures in Buddhist art. Let us see in Jainism. The founders of Jainism are portrayed seated or standing on lotus thrones. As his name suggests, the Jain Tirthankara Padmanabha is also represented by the symbol of lotus. Padmanabha means bright as a red lotus in Sanskrit. It is said in Shvetambara sources that his mother had a fancy for a couch of red lotuses, Padma, while he was in her womb. Next, cultural. In the classical written and oral literature of many Asian cultures, the lotus is present in figurative form, representing elegance, beauty, perfection, purity, and grace, being often used in poems and songs as an allegory for ideal feminine attributes. In Sanskrit, the word lotus has many synonyms. Since the lotus thrives on water, ja, denoting birth, is added to words for water to derive synonyms for lotus like Rajiva, Ambuja, Neeraja, Pankaja, Padmaja, Kamala, Aravinda, Nalini, and Saroja, etc. Names derived from the lotus like Padmavati or Padmini. These names or derived versions are often used to name girls and to a lesser extent boys throughout South and Southeast Asia. The lotus flower is the state flower of several Indian states, including Karnataka, Haryana, and Andhra Pradesh. The lotus flower is the election symbol of Bharatiya Janata Party. one of the two major political parties in India. Lotus position or Padmasana. It is a cross-legged sitting meditation pose from ancient India in which each foot is placed on the opposite thigh. It is an ancient asana in yoga, predating Hatha Yoga, and is widely used for meditation in Hindu, Tantra, Jain, and Buddhist traditions. Variations include half lotus and psychic upon pose. Advanced variations of several other asanas, including yoga, headstand, have the legs in lotus or half lotus. The pose can be uncomfortable for people not used to sitting on the floor and attempts to force the legs into the position can injure the knees. Shiva, the meditating ascetic god of Hinduism, Gautam Buddha, the founder of Buddhism, and the Tirthankaras in Jainism have been depicted in the lotus position, especially in statues. The pose is emblematic of both Buddhist meditation and of yoga, and as such has found a place in Western culture as a symbol of healthy living and well-being. The pose is ancient and is described along with other asanas, like sitting postures. In the 18th century book, Patanjala Yoga Shastra Vivarana, a figure seated in lotus position in a lotus flower is shown on dinar coins of Chandragupta II, who reigned 380 BC to 415 AD. The first tantric text to discuss posture. The meditator and user of mantras to sit in lotus or a similar posture, the 15th century Hatha Yoga Pradipika states that the pose destroys all diseases and that a yogin in the pose who retains the air breathed through the nadi channels attains liberation. Position. From sitting cross-legged on the floor in Sukhasana, one foot is placed on top of the opposite thigh with its sole facing upward and heel close to the abdomen. The other foot is then placed on the opposite thigh as systematically as possible. The pose requires very open hips. It can be modified using a support such as a cushion or blanket by sitting on its forward edge, or the pelvis is titled forward. Variations. In half lotus, Ardha Padmasana, one leg is bent and resting on the ground. The other leg is bent with the foot in lotus position. It is an easier meditation position than full lotus. In bound lotus, Baddha Padmasana, the practitioner sits in full lotus and each hand reaches around the back to grasp the opposite foot, like this. For psychic union pose, Yoga Mudrasana, the practitioner bends forward in full lotus, bringing the forehead as close to the floor as possible. The pose is both an asana and a mudra. Easier variants begin from Ardha Padmasana or Sukhasana. Variations of several other asanas such as Shirshasana mean yoga headstand, Sarvangasana shoulder stand, Simhasana lion pose, Matsyasana fish pose, and Gorakshasana cowherd pose have the legs in lotus. Asanas such as Vatayasana means horse pose, and advanced forms of Ardha Matsyendrasana, half lord of the fishes pose, have one leg as in half lotus. Now let us see the effects. Lotus is one of the yoga poses that most commonly causes injury. Attempts to force the legs into lotus pose can injure the knees by squeezing edge. The pelvis is titled forward. Then variations. In half lotus Adha Padmasana, one leg is bent and resting on the ground. The other leg is bent with the foot and lotus position. It is an easier meditation position than full lotus. In bound lotus, Baddha Padmasana, the prediction is full of lotus. That's why we have to change it. And this is painful and takes a long time to heal. The hip joints must be rotated towards freely approximately 115 degrees to permit full lotus. Students who cannot achieve this much hip rotation may try to compensate by being the knee joint sideways, risking injury. Safer alternatives include Baddha Konasana, cobbler's pose, provided the knees are not pushed down. The thighs can be encouraged to rotate using hand pressure or a strap. Yoga expert BKS Iyengar notes that people unused to sitting on the floor will initially feel excruciating pain in the knees, but that this subsides with practice until the pose becomes relaxing, both restful and alert on hands ideal for pranayama. 20th century advocates of some schools of yoga, such as Iyengar, made claims for the effects of yoga on specific organs without adducing any evidence. Iyengar claimed that Padmasana encourages blood circulation in the abdomen and lumbar region, toning the spine and abdominal organs. Now we are coming to Lotus Temple. The Lotus Temple, located in Delhi, India, is a Baha'i house of worship that was dedicated in December 1986. 96, 2006, 2016. That means 35 years back it is built. Notable for its flowery-like shape, it has become a prominent attraction in the city. Like all Baha'i houses of worship, the Lotus Temple is open to all, regardless of religion or any other qualification. According to Shogi Effendi, a Baha'i temple is a silent teacher of Baha'i faith. The building is composed of 27 freestanding marble clad petals arranged in clusters of 3 to palm 9 sides, with 9 doors opening onto a central hall with a height of slightly over 34 meters and a capacity of 2,500 people. The Lotus Temple has won numerous architectural awards and has been featured in many newspaper and magazine articles. A 201 CNN report referred to it as the most visited building in the world. What the background? The temple was dedicated 23rd 27 December 1986 with a gathering of 8,000 Baha'is from 107 countries, including some 4,000 Baha'is from 22 provinces in India. On January 1st, the temple was opened to the public and more than 10,000 people visited the first day. By late 2001, it had attracted more than 70 million visitors, according to Manpreet Brar, a CNN reporter. The permanent delegation of India to UNESCO stated that the Lotus Temple has received over 100 million visitors by April 2014. The Baha'i faith teaches that the Baha'i house of worship should be a space for people of all religions to gather, reflect, and worship. Anyone may enter the Lotus Temple irrespective of religious background, sex, or other distinctions, as it is easy with all Baha'i houses of worship. The sacred writings of not only the Baha'i faith but also other religions can be read and or chanted, regardless of language. On the other hand, reading non-scriptural text is forbidden, as are delivering sermons or lectures or fundraising. Musical renditions of reading and prayers can be sung by choirs, but no musical instruments can be played inside. There is no set pattern for worship services, and ritualistic ceremonies are not permitted. Let us see the structure and interior view. Interior view of the symbol of the greatest name set at the top of the temple. All Baha'i houses of worship, including the Lotus Temple, share certain architectural elements, some of which are specified by Baha'i scripture. Abdul Baha, the son of the founder of the religion, stipulated that an essential architectural character of a house of worship is a nine-sided circular shape, like a circular shape, nine-sided. While all current Baha'i houses of worship have it done, this is not regarded as an essential part of their architecture. Baha'i scripture also states that no pictures, statues, or images be displayed within the house of worship, and no pulpits or altars be incorporated as an architectural feature behind simple portable lecture or stands. Model of the temple at the information center. Inspired by the lotus flower, the design for the house of worship in New Delhi is composed of 27 freestanding marble clad petals arranged in clusters of 3 to form 9 sides. The 9 doors of the Lotus Temple open onto a central hall 34.3 meters tall that can seat 1,300 people at a time and hold up to 2,500 in all totally. The surface of the house of worship is made of white marble from Peteli mountain in Greece, the same marble used in the construction of many ancient monuments and other. Baha'i buildings, along with its 9 surrounding ponds and gardens, the Lotus Temple property comprises 26 acres. I thought 5 to 10, no? Totally 26 acres. Lotus Temple is situated near Oka NSIC and Kalkaji Mandir metro station is just 500 meters away. The temple is located in the village of Bahapur in New Delhi, National Capital Territory of Delhi. The architect was an Iranian, Faribor II Sabha, who now lives in La Jolla, California, after living some years in Canada. He was approached in 1976 to design the Lotus Temple and later oversaw its construction. The structural design was undertaken by the UK firm Flint and Neil over the course of 18 months, and the construction was done by ECC Construction Group of Larsen and Toubro Limited at a cost of $10 million. The major part of the funds needed to buy this land was donated by Ardeshir Rustampur of Hyderabad, Sindh, Pakistan, whose will dictated that his entire life savings would go to this purpose. A portion of the construction budget was saved and used to build a greenhouse to study indigenous plants and flowers that would be appropriate for use on the site. Of the temple's total electricity use of 500 kilowatts, 120 kilowatts is provided by the solar power generated by solar panels on the building. This saves the temple 1,20,000 rupees per month. It is the first temple in Delhi to use solar power. One of the 9 ponds surrounding this Lotus Temple. The temple has received a wide range of attention in a professional, architectural, fine art, religious, governmental, and other venues. Let us see so many awards it's got. 1987, the architect of Baha'i House of Worship, Fariborz Sabha, was presented the award for excellence in religious arts and architecture by the UK-based Institution of Structural Engineers for producing a building so emulating the beauty of a flower and so striking in its visual impact. In 1988, the Illuminating Engineering Society of North America conferred the Paul Waterbury Outdoor Lighting Design Award Special Citation for exterior lighting. In 1989, the temple received an award from the Maharashtra, India chapter of the American Concrete Institute for excellence in a concrete structure. 2000, Architectural Society of China as one of the 100 canonical works of the 20th century in the recently published World Architecture 1900-2000, a critical mosaic volume 8 South Asia. Thus, we can know about the greatness of Lotus Flower and Lotus Temple as well. श्रीकांताय कल्याण निधे निधेतराम श्री वेंकटरमाचार्य श्रीनिवासाय मंगलम मंगलाशास्त्र परिमदाचार्य पुरोगमे सर्वेश्वर गुरुराचार्य सत्कृतायास्तु मंगलम.